here's a problem with this whole thing. So we're street level adjusters.
Yes.
We're more or less investigators.
Yes.
We're sent out when nothing else works. People don't return the call. They don't communicate. They lie. They obfuscate. They evade. So that's what we do. This group is kind of claims investigators for the most part. Some of them might be TPAs. A handful of them are insurance companies, like the guy you were talking to, Scott Mull.
Yes.
So they'll have a different approach. But of course, insurance companies on the claims side are the last ones of their industry. The claims department in insurance companies are the last one to automate anything. Okay, they're the last ones to go tech. All right, so in my end of the business, and I had a talk with Patty Harmon, who's the she's editor-in-chief of Digital Insurance Magazine. And we were like talking about what is the application of AI in what I do? Well, I mean, maybe it could write some reports or something. And from an insurer's standpoint, if you're thinking of being competitive to acquire 10,000 policyholders in a given region, AI might be able to help you with marketing, application, implementation, and people can go online, fill out their own application. They can take a picture of their own car. Here's my car. Here's my VIN and all that stuff. And you can use AI for all that, for policyholder acquisition. But once you've got the policyholders and you're a totally integrated AI company, a claim happens. Well, here's what the high-tech generation doesn't understand. Young people, 30 and below,
Yes.
who are very techy. Okay. They don't understand that human beings don't cooperate. They don't play the game. They don't play ball. So they're not going to, somebody who has a claim is not going to take a picture of his own damage and send it to you. He's not going to do it timely. He's not going to do it honestly.
And if he's out there to commit fraud, he's not about to, it's possible he's not doing it for his own car either. So.
Okay, here's a little aside
Yes.
bit of information that no one will admit to you. So the insurance industry estimates there's about $100 billion of fraud that's lost,
Yes.
money that's lost. But they're not that concerned with wiping it out. Okay? Nobody will ever admit to that. They have to show some effort to the regulators, because the insurance companies are smacked up against the regulators who control them, right?
Yeah.
To protect the public.
Yeah.
So they have to show an interest and some initiative in fighting fraud. So they have this organization called the National Fraud Coalition, blah, blah. It's all BS. They contribute a little money. They keep it going. It probably has a budget of somewhere between $1 million and $5 million annually. And they have a chairman of that department. And have you ever talked to that person? You know that person? Have you ever met them?
No.
Whoever's head of the National Institute for Coalition for Fraud. They're always bitching and mooning that they're not funded enough, that they're not able to fight enough fraud, because they scratch the surface and you got $100 billion worth of fraud.
Yeah, how does 5 million fight 100 billion?
So all of that is like token effort. Okay, so the game that the insurance industry is really playing, you can work with this how you want, is they want to collect more premium than they pay out.
Always. It's a business. It's profit.
It's not so much about policyholder retention.
No.
Because the only policyholders they want to retain are the ones that don't make any claims. Understand? Then this is like verboten in my industry. Nobody feels free enough to talk that way as far as I know. Okay? Once you make a claim, any insurance...
Well, you can look at it, right? Insurers are leaving Florida.
Oh, yeah. And some California.
And California.
Once you make a claim, they're watching you.
Yes.
Oh, you made a claim. You asked us for $100,000, $1 million, whatever. Okay. Once you make a second claim, you're on a hit list.
Yeah.
Now they're ready to get rid of you at the drop of a hat.
Yes.
Third claim, forget it. Within a certain amount, this is how they're judging you.
Yeah.
They don't want you as a policyholder anymore. And nobody will ever admit to that. A lot of these people still think it's about the policyholder.
No.
It's not. You know that already.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I've been in this space for 20 years, by the way.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't know that. A lot of people don't
the
get
fact
that.
that insurers are leaving Florida and California, even though you have a right to home insurance.
Yeah, but they blame that on the lawyers and the public adjusters. and you know, maybe the increased storms because climate change and all that stuff. But still, in this meeting today that we've had so far, we had a panel of insurance industry people, 10 or 11 people up there. And they still talk that game. Well, we got to take care of our policyholders.
But that's because that's a sales pitch.
It is the mantra.
Yes.
It is. But they don't even realize, some of these people that said that.
Really?
Yeah, I believe it. They don't even realize that it's not about the
Well,
policy.
the bean counter's on the top too.
The people who are looking from 40,000 feet up, no.
No, they know.
So I'm telling you
the mandates come from the top down, right?
Yeah. Well,
when you leave a state, right? When you say to the state,
that says a lot.
It says a lot.
You have to look at that from 40,000 feet up, because at surface level, they'll tell you we're leaving the state because it's too litigious, too many lawyers, too many public adjusters. And all of that is part of the whole story. But the point is, they don't care about their policy.
No.
Okay. So getting back to your question, AI and what I do, I don't get it. I'm not sure how it can be integrated, because I have to look people face in the face. Yeah. Right? Face to face. I look at you and I'm sizing you up. Okay. AI, I don't know. AI could, I guess, look at you with some kind of camera or something.
I think the way you have to look at it is, I think saying that automation can replace an adjuster is BS. Like, that's not happening. Our perspective is, are there opportunities on the operation side in the claims ops and back office that will help do higher volumes of claims when you've got CAT situations, that will help with some of your administrative burdens, that will help with situations like reporting, recorded statements being turned into summaries, medical report review, things like that.
Yeah, I suppose that's possible. But one little misstep could land you in a lot of trouble.
Yes.
Because someday, if a case is litigated, they're going to play something before a jury and say, this is the way AI interpreted what that adjuster said. And that sounds to me like they're accepting liability. But now they're telling you they don't accept liability. So, I mean, it could happen like that.
I think the key is making sure that you don't trust the machine to do the whole thing. You have to make sure. So if something typically takes 5 hours, what if it took you half an hour because, you know, some level of software actually cut out 4.5 hours of labor?
I don't see how that could be possible, to be honest. So what could that be? Let's say I worked on a very complex report, a very complex loss, and rarely does that come across your desk. Most reports you can throw together within an hour, and you're going to bill about an hour, 1.2, 1.5, something like that. So supposedly, I guess I could have a bunch of data points, questions that I could fill in, and then AI would throw together a report. So for example, in our reporting, there's a caption called identification.
Yes.
And the job for us to do is to identify the vehicle that was involved, make sure it's listed on the policy, identify it by VIN, tag, and so on. So I guess I could enter the VIN into a questionnaire, and AI could say the vehicle involved.
Do you take a picture of the VIN?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, even things like that, like you could technically, if you're taking a picture of everything yourself, like you're in the field, right?
Yes.
You could take pictures of things and you could do dictation while you're taking the pictures, and it can be turned into a report. Look at it that way. That's what I'm saying.
While I'm taking the picture?
While you take, you're commenting, right? You're like, well.
I take the picture and I comment.
You comment.
I dictate.
Well, and you dictate. Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, is that AI? That is high tech.
That is high tech. So I think when you look at it as technology. Look at it as technology enabling efficiencies in your operations. Because I can confidently say I don't believe in legal, in insurance, and in medical, 3 sectors we play in, that automation is going to replace people. Okay. I actually can confidently say that. What it can do is enable workflows, and it can accelerate and really allow you as a human being to focus on what you do best. The creative, the judgment, the perspective, what you bring to the table when you go out in the field.
Okay, hold judgment aside. I want to comment about that, because companies are less and less trusting the judgment of their employees. I report to people who don't know anything, who are not been well trained, and have no judgment, no decision-making ability or inclination to do so. But all right, let's not get into that. That's messy. But yes, I tend to agree with you, but then I feel like I'm the dinosaur here. I don't see how they can replace what I do. But let's say in some world 20 years from now, every inch of everything is recorded.
It already is.
It's almost there. Okay, so you don't need someone to investigate how the accident happened because it's recorded. Nobody can deny anything. Every angle. So you don't need witnesses. You don't need somebody to go out and look for witnesses or take accident scene photos because everything is already recorded. That could be true inside the premises. Somebody slips and falls, again becomes injured. It was recorded. And so AI could replace field activity, what we do. And then as far as smart homes, well, I'll tell you, do you understand what parametric insurance is?
No.
Okay. Parametric insurance, imagine this. Imagine you're an insurance company and you insure homes, okay? And you have to deal with contractors who come in and say the damages are this much, and the adjuster says the damages are this much. And then there's water technicians to come in and dry and fight mold, and they have reports and they have testing, and they tell you, well, no, this has got to be done, and you can't just walk away from it, right? Okay. I'm not putting you to sleep here.
No.
Okay. So if you were an insurance company and you got tired of dealing with all that crap, is there a way you could invent a policy that just helps you avoid all that crap? You don't have to deal with adjusters. You don't have to deal with contractors.
You could, during placement of policy, say, I'm going to cover X dollars for this, X for this, X for this in the case of a damage.
So what parametric insurance is, they'll go into a premises and they'll install meters, measurement meters, right? The water gets this high, we're going to pay you $25,000. Gets this high, we'll pay you $75,000.
It's a sensor system. It's a sensor system.
It exists.
Yes.
I get a claim on that building that I insure. I'm not dealing with adjusters or anything. The water rose this high. Here's our legal evidence of that. We're cutting you a check for $250,000.
Yeah.
You do with it what you want to do with it. That's a company. It already exists.
It does exist,
It's just not real popular.
The sensor systems, I know companies that do the sensor systems that they sell to insurers still as concept, right? It's still a concept.
They're companies. Yeah. They're already making money and doing business and collecting premium. I forget the name of it, but if you just Google parametric insurance, you got it. I just read an article about it this week, and it's an amazing concept. It's easy to visualize it for flood, but it can also be done for wind. If a wind reaches a certain amount of power, everybody in that neighborhood, they're going to pay. Boom, damage or not.
And the insurer looks at it as the cost of doing business. It's like, okay, it's sort of like lawsuits, right? It's like, do I pay a lawyer or do I just pay this buddy claim out so it goes away?
Oh yeah, so it's so easy. Oh, so easy to do. And that is the future also. So it is easy to see in 25 years in a totally different world that you won't need adjusters. I try to tell my daughter this, who's younger than I am, obviously she's running the company. And she doesn't want to see it or hear it or believe it, but I'm an old timer and I can see that that's feasible and that could be possible. So, but that's not exactly AI serving.
No,
claims
the thing is the process. I think, yes, you're right. Eventually the processes themselves will change such that the people involved in the industry will shift, right? So the insurers will change their business processes to bring down the costs for processing claims, and adjusters are a part of it.
Yeah. Now here's the pessimistic side of that. Insurers, you see AI as an opportunity to have less personnel, less staffing, and then to overload the staffing you do retain. So these people that I report to at the insurance companies, they don't respond to email, they don't respond to calls, they never answer their phone. Sometimes they don't read our reports, and a month goes by and we're reporting to them again.
Yeah. And
I have to do it in an apologetic way, not to throw them under the bus because they get audited. All right. So I'll say, in case you did not receive it, here's a copy of our report last month, and ask the same stuff. Ask for authority to proceed or something like that. So that happens now. They're all overloaded. They won't admit to that either. And so I have family that says, hey, I'm thinking of changing my homeowner's insurance to ABC. And I'll say, well, I know ABC, and each one of their claims examiner has 600 pending files. They'll give you a lower premium. They've got 600, which is untenable. Yeah. Untenable management of a claim. You'll never get somebody to answer the phone. and maybe they won't answer your first question, so they're horrible. So anyway, so there's that. And so I think that the people that run insurance companies, they think of AI as a way to eliminate personnel.
Yeah, it's cost cutting
and overload the retaining people. So
but
what do you
for
got
us,
with that?
we look at it as I don't think that's the right approach. I don't think replacing people is what you should be doing. I think reducing their load would be amazing,
Everybody
right?
says that. Now tell me, Loom Analytics
Yes.
is what exactly?
So
Why are you here?
We are here. We work with legal, insurance, and medical industry, specifically on the back office operations software. So we provide automated workflows for speech to text, for medical review, large document review. That's fully cloud-based, and we're here to speak to the independent adjusters. Like, I've been in the Canadian space for 20 years, and this company's been around for the last 8 years. So we're here, and I'm trying to figure out where the U.S. adjusting space is at. Now, it's very different from the Canadian adjusting space. So Canadian adjusting space does, like, all the way from cradle to grave of claim management, while the U.S. is very task-based.
Okay, but now when you say Canadian, are you involved with Canadian Association of Independent?
Yes, so
Adjusters?
yes.
Okay.
So I've been
attending battles.
Yes, Pat battles. Yes, absolutely. And so I run a back office operations company for 20 years that services the insurance industry in Canada. Okay. Right. And so I've been involved with the CIAA as part of that for a very long time. But the software company has been in existence only for the last 8 years. And what we do is some of the back office operations that we do manually are now being replaced with technology or are being enabled with technology. So if somebody on our manual operations team was spending, I don't know, an hour typing up an adjuster's report, now they spend 5 minutes or 10 minutes because the speech AI can actually generate the report, and there's a quality control layer where a human being is reviewing it. Like, because it's legal, it's insurance, it's medical. Those are critical services where people's lives depend on it. And so we always tell clients, you're not replacing humans with automation in these spaces, because the consequences with a machine getting it wrong are huge. Okay,
but how is that different from 35 years ago when I used to dictate a report?
And a person used to type it. Now a machine types it and a person reviews it.
Okay.
And so that cuts down.
I would have to review it,
Yeah. And so you review it and you finalize it, but you're not typing it from scratch. You're not spending an hour, hour and a half. Now, I spoke to somebody yesterday who said that, how does that impact my hourly rate? And I'm like, what happens when the insurer goes to fixed fee?
Goes to what?
Fixed fee.
Fuck it. I won't. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Apologize. I don't do fixed fee.
Yeah.
So.
But because that's the reality of like where insurers go.
You got that question. So here's my thinking. So typically a task that I took 2 hours to do, you're showing me how I can get it done in 0.5 hours.
Yeah.
Right? I'm still going to build 2 hours.
Do it.
I want to build 2 hours.
And then it improves your profitability.
Until they start complaining or they start getting wise.
And this is the thing, right? You have to look at as an opportunity, because if you look at it as the risk to replace you, the customer's going to do it, right? You have to evolve and adapt so that you stay ahead of the curve. If you are able to do more in the same amount of time, you improve your profitability. Because for us, with our operations, that's the way we looked at it. Our clients, did not lower their prices for clients. No. They're like, okay.
That's ideally, no.
Right. Ideally, no. So what they do is they things that used to take 2 hours now take 15 minutes. Things that used to take 10 hours, like a medical legal report, an IMU report, typically between medical document review and dictation, the assessor's dictation being typed and everything else, can take anywhere between 10 to 15 hours of work.
Now you use AI to medical review.
True, for medical review. So we'll catalog the whole. We'll go through a big stack of documents. We'll catalog, categorize, pull the data that's required.
How is that done? So you scan a sheet.
All of the documents
and a machine scans for letters or words that are pertinent.
Absolutely.
And then segregates them.
And then segregates.
And machine does all.
Oh, the machine does all of it.
That's AI.
That's AI.
Oh.
And it's like, and the thing is, we're in 2024. If you had this conversation with me in 2020, I'd say it's expensive to do. In 2024, it's
cheaper.
Very cheap. It's very cheap. We're a usage-based service.
Who's your perfect client?
Our perfect client is companies that have a very high volume of speech that has to be transcribed or documents that have to be reviewed and classified and sorted and data has to be extracted, because we're trying to get information out of hard to reach places quickly. That's what we're trying to do.
Okay, so individually, like the companies that are a member of this association, there might be a handful or less that are in the
Yep. Claims Pro.
$20-30 million
Yep.
annual revenue. Claims Pro is a global. Well, they're from Canada.
They're
You know
Canadian. I've been working with them for like 18 years
okay.
in Canada.
And then the rest of the company, myself included, are smaller family-owned
Yes.
businesses, 5 million or less annual revenues. I don't see where a company like mine would be worth it, but I don't know what you charge for the.
It's
for what
purely
you're
usage
proposing.
based.
Usage based.
Yeah. And so if you have, do you do recorded statements?
Yes.
Who types them?
Nobody. We do, only upon request.
Only upon request, right?
And our insureds, the carrier companies do not want their insured driver recorded. This is the real world, baby. This is hardball.
That's weird.
We don't want him to say something stupid.
Oh, and there's a...
So you get a non-record. That's the request. Don't record our driver. Talk to him. Tell us what he's going to say. All right. So it's an interview. It's not recorded. And then you summarize it.
Oh, I've seen this work. Yes. It's the handwritten report that they sign or something. Like you make the notes.
They don't have to sign it.
Okay.
We'll do a review. We'll write a summary of our discussion with him.
Yeah.
Right. But we create that. So I don't know how AI would help if it's not recorded.
Depends. No. So if it's you record it and you get a summary of it. So you record it, you upload the audio, and then you check the audio.
Because the thing is, you don't want to have to testify in court. Well, I wasn't supposed to, but I did record it. Follow me?
Yes, or you just dictate your notes then. You dictate the whole thing yourself, because
you might be lying, but depending on how the interrogation goes, you might have to lie. Because I'm recording it for my convenience. I'm not recording it as an official part of my file. Because the client didn't want me to.
So do you record it for your convenience?
Sometimes I do, just so I can go back. I'm not that active. I'm more or less.
Yeah. So if somebody records it, you could literally upload it and get a summary, get a summary out of it and chuck the recording.
Okay. Chuck the recording.
Chuck the recording.
But we did. And if somebody asks a direct question under oath, you couldn't say I recorded it and then tossed it. You get screwed for that. But anyway, so that's a little hiccup. Yeah, that's a little problem.
But it's high volume and it's usage based. So for example, for the speech services, we charge 20 cents an audio minute. If you have somebody
this seems very affordable.
It's very affordable, right? Like if you have an admin who sits and types your reports or types your recorded statements or sorts through your medical documents, like in medical document review, or in legal document review, you could have somebody sitting there for days. We charge 10 cents a page.
Okay. Well, we ourselves are a low volume company. We're regional. We're in 4 states, but it's low volume. So we'd have to figure out how that